What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Shine Comics, and today we're going to be talking about 5 comic books that I think should be adapted or integrated into the DCU. I've been pretty critical of some of the odd choices made by both James Gunn and Peter Safran, so this video will be kind of my fantasy of what I would adapt if I were in charge of DC Studios. Be sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on uploads, and I'm not going to waste too much time. Let's get into it. Green Lantern is one of, if not my favorite comic book of all time. And I'm not just talking about one particular writer or one character. I mean everything. Everything about this title is amazing. The Green Lantern title has had so many different leads, writers, and artists, yet it has always stood the test of time and has been great and enjoyable. I've talked many times about how I actually like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, and I feel that it paid a lot of homage to the source material. It was pretty faithful despite its problems, and I get pushed back for expressing any positive sentiment toward the film. Yet not many people, especially those who aren't comic book fans, are talking about the weird direction that Gunn, as well as the creatives behind the Lantern show, seem to be taking the Green Lantern sector of the universe. Casting a 60-year-old man to play Hal Jordan, casting a hazel-eyed, light-skinned, non-African American to play John Stewart, and Gunn himself admitting that the show isn't actually based on any Green Lantern comics and describing True Detective as a reference for Green fucking Lantern. It's looking like it's going to be a train wreck. I have no inherent problem with Green Lantern being grounded. Hell, many of Green Lantern's best comic book stories have been pretty grounded, but turning the Lanterns into detectives, that's stupid. And I can easily just say, hey, adapt all of Jeff Johns' work, build up to Sinestro Corpus War, Blackest Night. I can easily just say that, but I feel like that would be kind of boring and unfair. So I'm gonna take the stupid dice that James Gunn and co have given me and just roll with it. I would want Green Lantern War Journal, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Montos, to be adapted as a John Stewart story for the DCU. This comic is nothing short of fantastic. I've already made several videos about it, and I even interviewed Philip Kennedy Johnson himself. At its core, it's really just a complex character study of John Stewart that uncovers some pretty forgotten and unused lore behind the character, like the death of his little sister, his abusive father, and his relationship with his mother, which really is the shining point of it. John Stewart's architectural background is also heavily expanded on in this comic, a part of the character that has been largely forgotten since the Justice League animated series, which turned him into this one-dimensional badass Marine archetype. John gains new powers in this series, and it balances grounded and cosmic themes extremely well. And the only other Lanterns that appear are Guy Gardner and a new Lantern from a different multiverse, Shepard, who actually knew a different John Stewart. I think it would be great to see on screen. Although I'm not a fan of Aaron Pierre playing this character, I still think that he would do a great job portraying and bringing this specific comic book series to life. I can see this comic being adapted into a show or a movie. Like, it'll work great either one. You can make it a 6-episode small series, easy, or you could just turn it into a movie. A show would kind of be better because, like, it'll really, you'll get all of the emotional beats. Movies tend to, like, kind of skip out on those, and you don't get as much because, they gotta have the money for the CGI and all of the big epic fights. I hope you didn't think we were done talking about Green Lantern. Like, no. We know what we're gonna do with John Stewart, but what will we do with Hal? Green Lantern and Green Arrow by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams is an absolute classic comic book series that I need to see brought to screen. Hal Jordan and Oliver Queen are one of the first actual comic book duos to grace the medium and be well received and iconic. And unfortunately, I feel like this duo has been pretty forgotten or just disregarded in most contemporary media. Many non-comic book readers see Flash as the quintessential Hal duo, largely due to Jeff Johns' influence on the character with stories like Blackest Night and New 52 Justice League, where Barry and Hal are super close and Oliver are just off somewhere. I want to change that. Green Arrow and Green Lantern are like brothers. They disagree, they fight all the time, but they still love each other and love to argue over who looks better in green. And this classic book by Denny O'Neil was one of the first mainstream comics to really lean into socio-political commentary and darker themes. This series is grounded, filled with realism, and would fit perfectly on screen. I feel like an adaptation of this comic would work wonders as its own TV show, just as a character study of both Ollie and Hal, expanding their further lore. And just adding my own writing bits to this and making it further fit into the DCU, I think that since Hal Jordan appears to be older in this continuity, maybe he has to cope with the feeling of not being needed as much anymore in the broader DC universe. John Stewart is taking his place as the main Green Lantern. Young heroes like Blue Beetle and Firestorm are rising up. And so what purpose does this leave the older, washed up heroes like Oliver Queen and Hal Jordan. A TV show about these heroes coping with aging, solving street level crime, and driving across the country solving political issues would be so good. I need this. And I don't know, maybe we could get also flashbacks in this TV show of them reminiscing on the Silver Age of the DCU when they both were younger fighting crime together, but they've slowly kind of drifted apart over the years, and this show would be them coming back together. Now, I have some really cool story ideas for Kyle Rayner as well, based on his amazing works by Ron Mars and Judd Winnick, but maybe we'll save that for part 2. If you would like that, comment down below and subscribe. Okay, next we have Batman. We've gotten so many Batman movies and so much Batman media in general over the years. We know his origin story. We know about his younger years as Batman. We know about his Robins. We don't need a young Batman. Hell, we don't even need a middle-aged Batman. Let him be a bit older, slightly past his prime, but not the Dark Knight Returns old, just at a point in his career where he isn't as fast, he isn't as strong, and he relies more both on his gadgets and his allies being the Robin. I think Batman Failsafe by Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez would be the perfect comic to adapt on screen. I've said it so many times and I don't care what Nimrods disagree. Chip Zdarsky's Batman is amazing and it's probably the best Batman run ever made. Or I killed him, I swear to God! Not God, not even close. It's everything a Batman series needs. It has the heart, the emotion. Batman isn't reduced to just the antisocial, childish sociopath. In fact, Zdarsky's series rejects these tropes. It's action-packed, filled with awesome sci-fi fights and contingency plans, which, like it or not, have largely become a part of Batman's character in the 21st century, and the character would seem really unrecognizable to most modern fans without it. The side characters who play important roles, and every panel they occupy feels like it matters. But most importantly, it references past material. Quick break to make this about myself. I started reading comics in just 2022, just 3 years ago, and Chip Zdarsky's Batman was the first ongoing Batman series that I ever read. And although I didn't know as much about Batman lore when I first started reading Chip's series, he filled me in with his books. Chip Zdarsky constantly references past writers and past stories. Death in the Family, Batman R.I.P., Batman Zero Year, Death of the Family, Justice League Tower of Babel, and Batman the Night. And it is a situation where you have to read those stories to properly understand Chip's saga. He fills you in within his books and makes you want to go back and read those past stories. Very similarly to the Batman Arkham series, another series or continuity that Chip Zdarsky references within the pages of his books. Batman fighting Failsafe, his own creation, exploring the Zur-En-Arrh persona that he created himself, and also learning to trust his family instead of pushing them away. And in this hypothetical movie, you can even show and include the flashbacks to Justice League Tower of Babel, with Batman betraying and keeping contingency plans on the Justice League. Once again, this is a older, more established DC universe, so we don't need a whole movie dedicated to the Tower of Babel story. However, you could pay homage to it in this Batman Failsafe movie. Overall, this entire book would be amazing. We need to see it on film. It will be perfect. His entire book is just like a giant love letter to the Caped Crusader, and I don't think we've had a film that has truly captured this love in essence, and adapting this series would be perfect to do that. Okay guys, next we have Red Hood and the Outlaws, written by Scott Lobdell with art by Dexter Soy. Red Hood and the Outlaws is the first comic that I started reading. It's technically the second, but it's also kind of my first, and it's really just a character study of Jason Todd, the second Robin who was killed by the Joker, and it is so good. You'll notice on this list I have a lot of character study type books. I just love, the characters are what makes these stories so great. You can't have a great story without a great character. We see Jason form strong bonds and become teammates with Artemis, Wonder Woman's cousin, and Bizarro, the Superman with an IQ and 5-year-old, but still has so much heart and innocence and just wants to protect people. Seriously guys, Bizarro is so adorable. He refers to Jason as Red Him and Artemis as Red Her. This unlikely group of damaged characters become great friends, some even more than that. And man, I just love this comic book. Like, you have to read it yourself. I can't even really explain. You just have to read it. Jason really comes into his own and finds actual purpose in life. And I don't want to spoil this book for you, but there's an instance where Bizarro actually becomes super smart, like literally Lex Luthor level, and crazy things happen after that. And this book goes into Jason's complicated relationship with Batman. The trio was nicknamed the Dark Trinity, and they oddly have more chemistry and character depth than the real Trinity. And I just love this book so much, man. We learned so much hidden information about Artemis. It literally got me into DC Comics proper. Like, it made me love Red Hood. It's so good. Oh, like, you have to read it. Just go read it right now. If you can't do it today, do it yesterday. This comic as a live action TV show, you know, with a decently high budget, would be amazing. And please be ready to have your hearts broken, because they're gonna be shattered, guys. Be ready. Last but certainly not least, we have Black Adam by Christopher Prius, and it would work great as honestly just a movie. You guys already know about the Black Adam movie made by The Rock, and that movie, I liked it. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it kind of was a failure. It didn't really capture the essence of the Black Adam character. They turned him into this anti-hero, and if anything, they basically made him a hero, like, because they changed his origin from the comics to basically make him more sympathetic in the movie and more heroic. It's so weird. It was just The Rock being The Rock. I want them to take more inspiration from the comics, and the tagline for Christopher Priest's Black Adam run is literally, there is no redemption for Black Adam. Black Adam is a villain. He will always be a villain. He is a monster, but is he God's monster? I don't know. Like, this series really, it's a character study on Black Adam. It really gets into his lore, his mythology, but in such like interesting ways. There's so much political conflict with like the Middle East and Israel. Black Adam actually passes his powers down to his descendant, this black kid from Queens, Malik White. This comic really makes Black Adam a deep and complex and interesting villain who actually, some of you guys didn't know, used to be a hero. Like, he was once a hero at one point. It uncovers so much lore. It would work amazing as a freaking movie. I need to see this. Black Adam is a villain. There is no redemption for Black Adam.